Have you checked the news lately? One minute I'm ashamed of the world, and then the next minute I'm scared to be in it. Also, Skate's out! Yippee! I can't lie, I tried to script out a week with this game twice, and it didn't really work. So instead we're gonna do it a little bit different this time, for a game that's a little bit different to talk about. Skate is very odd in terms of where it sits relative to other games, because it is an open sandbox, you know, like GTA, but it's also far more experiential than a game like GTA. It doesn't really have defined points of friction. It's just kind of a go with the flow kind of video game, and for it is very hard to talk about. It's almost like it's closer to Second Life than it is like GTA or Just Cause or even like Halo 3. Not because there's no guns, but because it's far more built on your own preferences. And so you just kind of go around and you vibe. So I've decided to do live commentary instead. Also known as ASMR for boys. This is probably the most mixed that I've felt on a game in a very, very long time. You know, most of the time I can say, oh, you know, this game has really good qualities, but it's not for me. Or this game, you know, kind of fucking sucks, but I really like it, so I wouldn't recommend it, but I think it's great. This is a game I literally cannot, like, put my finger on whether I like it or I kind of hate it. Well, no, okay, I don't kind of hate it. I do like it. But there's so many small things in the experience that kind of come together to make me go, I don't think I should play this right now. And a part of that is the fact that this is the 4th Skate video game, and maybe it's not called Skate 4, but it is a 4th Skate game, so it has to live within the expectations of Skate 1 through 3. And so relative to those other games, I would say, yeah, this game is nowhere near as good as Skate 3, and also isn't particularly more enjoyable than Skate 2. But at the same time, those games are 10 years old, and I would imagine not a lot of people have played those games. And also, I'm still having a decent time. It's still much better than Skate 1, but I still don't love it. But I do. But I don't. See, this is why I couldn't write like a solid script about it, because my thoughts are so muddled. In terms of structured, objective gameplay, I think that this is politely some of the least enjoyable that Skate has ever been. These kind of objectives that are daily rotations on do a line, but also do X amount of things within the line, just make me not enjoy it at all. Like, I don't want to go around inside of a game that is effectively a sandbox and you tell me what I'm specifically supposed to do in this instance. It's a sandbox. Give me a goal that is open-ended, and then let me achieve that in any particular way that I want to achieve. If I want to sit there and I want to, like, manual for 400 hours to get a score of, like, 4,000, let me do that. Yeah, it would be fucking stupid, but also this is a game that is open-ended, and it doesn't really embrace any of that with its objectives. These objectives also don't really feel conducive to an online experience. You know, like, okay, a trick this thing and collect the bearings challenge, you know, it's not great, but also there's no implication of, like, a leaderboard, and there's no implication of keeping a track of the score between you and your friends, or keeping a track of the score between you and the people in the same server as you. And so there's no reason to really push the challenges in a direction where you actually want to get really good and understand why the multiplier system works the way that it does. So, for example, here, it's a get the best sequence, you know, get over this score, which that's the way it was in like Skate 1, 2, and 3. But then the moment that I get this score, it is going to immediately forget about what score I got. You fucker. Oh wait, I did get it. It's going to immediately forget what score I got, and isn't going to relate it to any of the other players in the world, so it doesn't give me any kind of sense of progression or getting better at the game, which I guess is fair in one sense, in that it's supposed to be an open sandbox. And so if you push the idea of like being good at Skate, it promotes a certain type of play, but without it, it kind of feels like all of these objectives don't act as a catalyst for particular kinds of play. They feel like checklists that you do over, you know, over the course of the day. So even though they are like structurally more complicated than like the spot challenges in Skate 1 and 2 and whatever the fuck, they don't feel as well thought out. I don't really want to say that, because that implies that like the devs weren't thinking, whoa, and you know, I don't think that's true. But it does feel lacking relative to the other games in the series, which isn't a problem if you haven't played the other games in the series, and there hasn't been an entry for 10 years. And so I would imagine that there's quite a lot of people that are playing that never did play Skate 1 or 2, and maybe they played Skate 3 at a friend's house. So I think that like the structured element of gameplay here is really lacking. I don't know if that's because of just the fact that I've played other Skate games though, so I know how it could be different. So I think there's a lot of like issues in terms of like the structure, because ultimately the base of Skate is still here, you know. It's still, you still do a kickflip and you do a flick on the controller and it feels great. And they've even added some like little things like you're able to hold 360 flips now, which is nice. If I remember correctly, I still have the gripe where the game will automatically end your kickflips for you. Yeah, like there, I didn't let go of the stick. The game will still like let go of your kickflips for you. And so held flips aren't really difficult in the way that I want them to be. It doesn't ask you to interpret the end of a flip, you know? And there's small things that are missing, like you can't do a dark slide in this game. You can't do, I don't know, an impossible, which, I mean, you couldn't do an impossible in Skate 3 either. But, you know, there's just, like, little things like that that kind of drive me up the bend, if you will. Can you do, like, grabbed grinds in this game? I haven't checked, because it's not really something that I care for. Okay, you can't do, like, grabbed grinds either, which is a bit weird. Just odd little things like that. Like, the fact that I can't do, like a finger flip or anything like that is odd. So it's not all there in terms of the base game, in terms of like, oh, I can do X trick and Y trick, etc, etc. Like underflips aren't in the game either. You can still do a late flip, but a late flip and an underflip are two fundamentally different things on the controller. So in Skate 3, you would do like a little like triangle on your stick, and you would get a kickflip underflip. Whereas now you get nothing. If you want to do a kickflip underflip, you can't. You're doing like kickflip into late flip. Not like that. Like that. And they just feel really different, in a way that I don't think is necessarily better. And a lot of these issues can kind of get, like, summed up into... It's still fun, it's still really identifiably Skate, but also I've played Skate for 10 years. I kind of... You give me Skate 4, and I expect it to be Skate 4, not Skate 2 and a bit. Thankfully, like, as far as Skate goes, I think that live service kind of makes a lot of sense. In the hope that all of the stuff that is missing will just eventually be added. And more so, like, right now, maybe the base isn't the best that Skate has ever been, but if you give it, I don't know, like, 5 years, okay, maybe not 5 years, let's say give it, like, 2 years, it might be, like, the best Skate has ever been. But right now, it feels like it's kind of wearing the skeleton of Skate 2 and going, please don't try to do a dark slide. I also kind of have, like, a problem with the way that the game is laid out in, like, a literal sense. There's... Oh. Go on, ball boy. Hit it. Oh, steezy. This game seems to have a huge amount of focus on smaller, more isolated spots. The game doesn't flow as well as Skate 2 or Skate 3 in that, if you look at the map, this map is kind of built like a big dome. And so up here is the kind of highest point of the map, and then everything kind of flows down from it. But if you look at the center of the map, this isn't a feature. This isn't a spot that is interesting. And so everything that flows out from it is uninteresting, wider spaces. It's not an interesting, like, hill to explore. It's not an interesting set of, like, nooks and crannies in the way that Skate 2 was. And it's lacking a big central feature in the way that Skate 3 was designed. So if you look at Skate 3, you have the top of the university that leads into... I think it's a university at the very least. That leads into the kind of, like... These are all American features, as far as I'm concerned, so I'm not 100% sure what they're called. But, like, the weird concrete water system? Like, sewer system-looking thing? And that leads you into the rest of the world. It's one really large, explorable space that makes you feel like you're going insanely fast, and then a bunch of different points wherever you either choose to end the run or just accidentally fall out, you will end up in a new interesting area. Or the Mega Park in Skate 3, for example, that is, you know, maybe by itself designed as one continuous space, but people have found a bunch of different and weird in and out points from it that make it an interesting space, even relative to the areas that it's around. This game doesn't feel like it's had that interwoven nature in its design. So if I look out here, there's a huge amount of kind of like flat space. So if I jump down, it's like, okay, I'm now on a road, and it's like there's a big stair set in front of me. Okay. Well, okay, actually, now that I'm saying it and now that I'm looking at it, this is not the worst designed area. Although it just feels a bit vacant, does it not? Does it not just feel a bit like, blech, blech? It feels like the game hasn't had the fine comb that a single player experience allows for. So in Skate 2 and Skate 3, it really feels like the area is designed as one very large, continuous, sprawling arena. It kind of feels like they had one really good idea, and then they gave that really good idea a couple of empty spaces at the end of it. And then they just kept building on that really good idea. So you can just skate for ages and ages and ages and never feel like you are transitioning from one space to another. They all feel interlinked in some kind of way. In Skate 4, it feels a little bit more... It feels a little bit more segmented. And I guess it literally is. In that you exit one... You exit one area, and it doesn't feel like you're flowing into the new area. Like this space feels like I am approaching from the end of this area. It feels like it is designed to flow not from, like, north to south, but it is designed to flow from south to north. And Skate 3 occasionally feels like that, but it doesn't feel as intrusive as this game does. I don't know. This area is really nice. I like the brickwork because it reminds me of where I live. So yeah, I actually really like this area. But I think that like the structural problems for me just relates to how I play Skate. You know, back when I was playing Skate 2 when I was like 10, and I The first time I played Skate 2, okay, so the first time I played Skate 2 was obviously, like, the demo that was on Xbox 360, and then I borrowed it from a mate, and he said, you can borrow this game for a week, and I borrowed it for a month, and then when I gave it back to him, somehow the disc was all scratched, and it didn't work anymore, which is fucking crazy, because it worked for me, I worked fine on my machine. But then, by the time that you get to, like, Skate 3, especially Skate 3 as I've played it in the last, like, 5 years, it's very much a game that... It's almost a second monitor video game, if that makes any sense. When I'm really feeling like I need to vibe out, but there's a little goblin in my brain saying you need to do 4 things at once, I will stick on Skate 3, and I will stick on a podcast. And I just kind of want to let the game flow for itself. And if you're wondering, like, oh, what kind of podcasts? You know, I'm a doc kid who stuck around for Melee beyond 2014. What do you think? I think because that's how I want to experience Skate 4 as this almost like single-player game that is a long flowing experience. The map being designed as little pockets and as smaller highlights bothers me a lot more than it might do other people. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that will play it the same way that a lot of people play Skate 3, where they go to the university water park and they just set a session marker down at the top and then just try and do the double bridge jump or whatever the fuck it is. But for me, who wants it to be a more long and continuous experience, this kind of focus on more isolated areas that are pockets of gameplay doesn't really gel with what I want from it. The good thing is that because this is an always online game, and I understand that I'm about to sing the praises of an always online game. I'm not saying that it's a great idea, I'm just saying that there are benefits and drawbacks. The one benefit of this being like an always online game is that kind of experience in which people are, what the fuck, why has this guy got his damn thing in the way? That kind of experience where everyone is always online. Oh, bastard. No, why would he do that? It means that you can have players, you can see a player off in the distance, just kind of flying out from somewhere, and you can sit there and wonder, like, oh, I wonder, like, where they're coming from. And then you can find where they keep respawning. And then you see a spot that is interesting, both by discovering it yourself, and also by having a player kind of like guide you inadvertently to where they thought was interesting. And that's a really fun experience. So there are like benefits to this type of design. Ooh. Yup. Everything that I have to say about this game in terms of like the words that will come out of my mouth are really quite negative, but there's very little about the experience that I'm truly like, oh, this sucks. Like, the only thing that I think is really off about this game is mostly stuff in relation to, you know, general microtransactions, the business of video games that are free to play. So there's been some discussion on, you know, the aesthetic of the game. And I think a lot of it has been really trite. You know, the people that are like, oh, it looks like Fortnite, I just do not agree. I think that it's painterly and at times is a little bit boring in the way that it's designed. Like a lot of the way that like the visual design is, it's a lot of like indistinct concrete, which, you know, that's kind of what urban metropolis kind of is a lot of the time. But I will say, while I don't agree with the observation that, like, the game looks like Fortnite, I do think that it doesn't look as good as Skate 2 in terms of, like, the ideas of the aesthetic. I think that Skate 2, like, obviously visually, on a fidelity level, isn't up there with this. But in terms of, like, a core aesthetic, I think that it's way more inviting than this game. Skate 2 has that really delightful, like 2004 to 2009, like skate park feel. You know, it's got the fisheye lens. It's got the filth on the lens as well because, you know, you're skaters and you don't exactly take the best care of your equipment. It's fucking sick. God, I love the way that Skate 2, like, just looks. And so I do think that that is missing from Skate 4. But I don't think it looks bad. The stuff that I do think is bad is, you know, it's the microtransactions. It's the fucking stupid shop that asks you to scroll down through a bunch of premium items that, you know, they're brands, don't get me wrong. And I think that's actually quite good in a skate game. But you go through all of this stuff that is actually relatively interesting to you. Like, I would buy those. Like, not buy them, but, like, I would want those as an earnable product. And you have to scroll down to product boxes. And what do the product boxes have? They have, like, dog shit in them. Like, why is a plain pink grip tape, I think that's grip tape, why is that an item that I have to unlock? That should be, like, one of the free base options when you go into a customization menu. It's miserable. And so a lot of, like, the progression stuff is really, really uninspiring. Like, okay, I just want my guy to kind of look like me. And so he needs to be, like, a little bit frumpy, but what is he gonna wear? He's gonna wear black jeans, he's gonna wear black shoes, and because I'm a fashion icon, I'm in the dress to impress lobby, and I'm absolutely fucking slaying. I serve every single day. I'm gonna be wearing a black hoodie as well, because I slay. And it's been 14 hours on a game that I like, and I haven't unlocked a black hoodie. Like, just really basic avatar expression is not permitted to you. And it's just, like, I don't wear green, bro. I don't want a green hoodie. Andy Anderson be like, I'm wearing a helmet. And so that stuff is frustrating. But then, okay, so let's say I am a whale. under the circumstance where, you know, I got big money moves. This stuff still doesn't appeal to me. I'm still looking for a more all-encompassing kind of store feature that behaves like a typical video game. But instead, you have the live service problem of let's make a rotating store of limited time items to make people feel like they need to buy here and now. And also, can I just throw it out? This is an absurd price point for like leather overalls. Okay, so if it's like $8.99 for 1,500 credits, you're saying that this is roughly about like, I don't know, like £6.50, £7 worth of value? Are you fucking stupid? This is not a fucking microtransaction. If I'm eating Lego, a whole Lego brick, it's not a microplastic, it's a fucking macroplastic. This is a macro sale. This is ridiculous. So yeah, the only point where I'm really like crashing out about this game is the usual stuff, you know. It's microtransactions, it's live service bullshit. It's the stuff that games unfortunately just kind of are. I don't think that it's fair to say that like the people that worked on this game don't love Skate. Because I am pretty confident that there were a lot of people that heard that the next project that they're going to be working on is a Skate game, and they went, holy fucking shit, let's go. I'm sure that there was like a ton of love put into this game. However, right now, it just doesn't feel up to what is available in the other Skate games, which I think is a bit of a problem considering the other Skate games aren't available. You know, I'm playing Skate 3 and 2 via an emulator because I just love preserving my PlayStation 3 games digitally, and I own them, and I have absolutely purchased these products and are merely transforming them via my own means. I'm able to play Skate 3 and look at it and go, holy fuck, like, Skate is so good and also isn't riddled with microtransactions. So yeah, do I like it? Yes. Am I glad that there is a new Skate? Absolutely. However, right now, as of week 1, I don't really... I'm not enamored with it the way that I want to be. I think a part of that is looking at a game that I played in February of last year and going, as someone who likes to skate, not a lot has been added from what I remember. It doesn't feel like this is a game that is that distant from the versions that I was playing in February. An entire, like, what? 18 months ago? So for me, I think that this game is good. I'm glad that it exists. But I also have to acknowledge that I'm not that eager to play this and keep up with it for now. This is a game that I'm probably going to check back in on like every 6 months, given that it stays alive for 6 months. Which, I mean, a lot of people are playing it, and so maybe it will. And hope that it is the Skate 4 that I've always wanted. But for now, it just kind of feels like alternate universe Skate 2. I actually mean this sincerely this time. I'm thinking 6 out of 10. Oh shit, I actually landed it. Oh, okay, fair enough.